What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my Week 14 DFS NFL picks. Let's win. You know how we like to do on this show. We like to start off with the kicker and defense first, pick some cheap options, see how much salary we have remaining, then go to the important positions, the easier ones that we can project. So for kicker, I like to stick in a cheap kicker, a minimum price kicker. Let's go this week with Phil Dawson or Mike Nugent. I'm preferring Phil Dawson because he's a Niner. These kickers are hard to predict, but they're playing against the Jets pretty good. Mike Nugent should have the most opportunities, but he is sometimes very inaccurate. So, I mean, you could really go with either one. Make sure you check up on the weather. So I'm going to put in Phil Dawson. Feel free to put in someone like Mike Nugent. You can even go with Kai Forbath if you want at minimum price. My favorite kickers this week, if we didn't have a salary, would be Dan Bailey at 4,700, one of the best kickers in the NFL, and also Stephen Gostkowski, the Patriots kicker, going against the Ravens. Pretty tough defense, so that can kind of even out maybe. Like the Patriots do well on offense, but might not get a lot of touchdowns, may not capitalize on those red zone opportunities and settle for field goals. Stephen Gostkowski's 4,800. Let's put in Phil Dawson and move on. For defense, some good punt options are the Rams defense. Julio Jones is not 100%. My gut feeling says he's gonna play. One of the beat writers for the Falcons says there's a good chance, a real good chance, and he expects Julio Jones not to play. The coach says, he may play. We don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that Sanu is not going to play. That's for sure. So the Rams they're nothing more than a GPP punt. Don't feel comfortable starting the Rams at all facing the Falcons, one of the best teams in the NFL. The Jaguars, I've rolled with them quite a bit this year, and I wouldn't be afraid to put them in there and see if we can, just temporarily. Not feeling too good about them. They are at home though. It should be a lowest scoring game, probably the lowest scoring game this week. Another crazy GPP pick is the Niners defense. I would not go with them. This is only an alternate GPP pick. Now defense I really like that I have some confidence in and as pretty good value is the Lions defense at 4,600. I would definitely feel comfortable rolling with them in GPP and cash games. Let's put in the Lions defense. Definitely feel comfortable with that. Some defenses I like more are the Vikings at 4,800. They're playing in Jacksonville. The Broncos at 4,900 playing in Tennessee. And the Bengals at 5,000 playing in Cleveland. Those three options are all really good, but they are the most expensive defenses. That's why I might just roll with the Lions. I really like them in a cash game. And, if we can spend up, might as well go with that. Definitely going cheap on kicker, especially in cash games this week. I'd rather spend up on a defense than a kicker. There's a lot of options this week at every position except really running back is the one that is easier to project. I've been pretty accurate on. It's not just me though, it's just easier to project this year. So what we're going to do for quarterbacks, I have a lot of options. I have my favorite one. So let's pick a quarterback. Let's go to running backs. Running back is the one where I might spend up on, especially in cash games. So quarterbacks, there's a lot of options that are good. I like Jameis Winston. You could go with Stafford, a little more expensive, but I really like Jameis Winston. I think he has both a good floor and a good ceiling in a high-scoring game at home playing against the Saints. This could be the making for a shootout, so I really like him. If you're not a big fan of Winston, you can go with Andrew Luck. He's the same price. The Texans are a bit banged up. Their starting cornerback is going to be out this week. So I do like Andrew Luck. They're an offense where it's Andrew Luck is basically the team. They pass a lot. So I really like both. It's really close, but I'd rather go with Winston against the Saints. That's just how I'm going to roll. I like Cam Newton as a good GPP pick. 7,800 should be contrarian. Just in general, keep tabs on the weather in Miami. A little bit of rain, I think, very windy. You already know how that goes with those type of weather conditions. Wind affects the upside when it comes to longer pass plays, more pass plays. You know, it's more run game and shorter passes. I think you know what I'm setting up here for running back. Some more options, cheaper options. We have Kaepernick, Jared Goff. Cap is 7,300, Goff is 6,700, and for punts we have RG3 at 6,200 and Bryce Petty at 6,100. Probably not going to put Petty in many of my lineups though, nor RG3, but those are the two cheapest options. I just wanted to mention that for you, give you guys some more options. For running backs in a cash game, I have to go with David Johnson in all my cash lineups, 9,700. This is the game I was just talking about, playing in Miami. Best running back in fantasy this year. You got to go with him. He has the highest floor, highest ceiling, great running back, great runner, great pass catcher. Just have to go with him. Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon, all good options. DeMarco Murray, I think, is the perfect making as a GPP running back. It's just, if you really go and study like a lot of GPP running backs, there's going to be a lot of running backs that were pricey but not quite the obvious choice, you know, the number one choice. One that people were a little bit scared of. And DeMarco Murray going against the Broncos is pretty good if they can get some blocks, the Titans that is. We know that you can run on the Broncos. Not an easy matchup running wise, but definitely it's better to run against the Broncos than to pass against them. It's a lot of havoc they can wreak when you drop back and pass. Jordan Howard's another name, but that can be kind of, you know, the Lions should have a pretty big lead, so that can be more some garbage time and passing at the end, which doesn't bode well for Jordan Howard's upside. Forte, Freeman, those guys, I like them, and more GPPs. Freeman's definitely a guy worth considering in a game where, you know, I just said Julio Jones banged up, Sanu is out, and the Falcons are heavily favorited to win. Some cheaper options, I like Jeremy Hill and Carlos Hyde a lot. I think Hyde is a little bit underrated when I look at projections and what people say. I think he has a great floor, not the best ceiling because nobody's really balling on that Niners offense other than Kaepernick, except last week. Kaepernick and Hyde is doing well. No one's really doing much else. I like him at that price. I'd probably rather bank on Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill is the goal line running back. He does split snaps nearly 50-50 with Rex Burkhead, but I think he's the guy to get the touchdown and not Burkhead. Thomas Rawls, another great, this one's a great value. His price is way too low, 6,500 in what should be a close game. Same thing with Frank Gore. I think this is more of a, I mean, you could use him in GPP. I'd say more cash lineup because he doesn't have tons of upside. Like, he's never been an RB1 in a while. I don't remember him being an RB1. It's been so long. Not in a season, but just in 1 week. So he doesn't have a ton of upside, but he is good. He'll probably finish as a top 10 running back this year. 6,000, great value. It's just hard to ignore that value. A guy you want to consider. You know, I may not pick him in a lot of my lineups, but definitely a guy you want to consider at that price. So more options, cheap options, not great names, but these are more punts. You have Crowell. If the Browns-Bengals can be a little bit closer than it's expected, Crowell can be okay, and not a guy you want to bank on because he's been absolutely horrible the past like 9 weeks or so. He's only been good in the beginning of the season. Kenneth Dixon, only 5,000. We know he's a good pass-catching back. Ryan Matthews at 4,600. But probably my favorite punt, it would have to be Rex Burkhead at only 4,500 playing against the Browns in Cleveland. I do like that one, but like I said, I mean, of course, I'd rather have Jeremy Hill than Rex Burkhead. But in a GPP, you might want to change it up and have Burkhead instead of Hill in a couple lineups, and also save you tons of salary cap. For wide receivers, I like Mike Evans and Antonio Brown both a lot. Mike Evans has a tendency to ball out the times I don't pick him and not do so well the times I do. So I don't know, maybe I go half my lineups with Evans and half without or something. I don't know what'll happen, but I mean, it's just, he should ball out. Playing against the Saints at home, you got to ball out, right? Let's focus more on great value wide receivers, though. We all know the big names, but like I said, I like those two a lot. May try to have one of them in my lineup. I think Larry Fitzgerald at 6,800 is a complete steal. Now, I didn't mention the weather there, but that's more for deep passes, guys. Larry Fitzgerald catches a lot of short passes, a lot of red zone targets, that type of work. He works in the slot. He's very consistent, gets a lot of targets. I really like him at 6,800. I think he'll be heavily targeted when they do pass. Julian Edelman at 6,600, another great value guy. They'll probably be going to this guy a lot. Martellus Bennett hasn't done much. Gronk is out. Danny Amendola is doubtful. So Edelman should be getting a lot of targets. I wouldn't be surprised if he got over 10 targets this game. Not at all. Golden Tate, again, price is super cheap for him, 6,300. Brandon Cooks, 6,300. This is the Tampa Bay game. They're playing in Tampa Bay. Between Brandon LaFell and Tyler Boyd, the two Bengal wide receivers, LaFell 5,800, Boyd 5,700. I think Boyd, I like Boyd more. I mean, just me personally, I like him more. LaFell is a little bit better with touchdowns, so Boyd doesn't have as much upside. I don't know if he's going to be able to get in the end zone. I doubt it, but he's more reliable. Like, he's going to get a lot of possession receptions, just may not score a lot of big points for you. But I have a feeling he's going to be targeted this game a decent amount. A GPP option I have is Will Fuller, and a punt option, Brian Quick, 4,500 only. So minimum price, playing against the Falcons in a game where Goff will probably have to throw the ball to come back in the fourth quarter. For tight ends, my number one tight end this week is Tyler Eifert, 6,700, playing against the Browns. I think he'll get in the end zone. I think he'll score a touchdown. I also think he'll do damage in other statistics, receptions, yards. I think he will be good. I don't think the Browns have the answer to stop him at all. So I really like him in a game where AJ Green's not there. He's my favorite tight end this week. I even told people to start him over Kelsey before this Thursday night game happened. I may regret that, but you know, I did like Eifert more. I think he's gonna score. That's all there is. I mean, Kelsey's been balling. I have him in season long, so I like it. But this week, gotta go Eifert over at Cleveland over Kelsey. I mean, Jimmy Graham's good, 6,600. Greg Olsen, I really like him this week, 6,400. There's a ton of other names in the middle there, but why go there when you can go super cheap? We have Vernon Davis, 4,800, a guy you really need to consider if Jordan Reed is out. If Jordan Reed does play, then Vernon Davis becomes nothing more than a GPP. And you may ask, why would I even pick him in any type of format, in a GPP or anything? That's because Jordan Reed, he has a small chance. I mean, we're just going off. It may not happen at all, but if he plays, like, he may not play a lot of snaps, or may get re-injured or take himself out of the game, or could be a game time decision. I don't have it written down here. I think it's a morning game though. It's an early game, so morning for me over here on Pacific. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's the first wave of games. I don't have it written here. So if Jordan Reed is out, Vernon Davis, great start. If Jordan Reed plays, then you don't want to pick Vernon Davis unless you're doing a crazy GPP lineup. But I mean, not too crazy though, because of the scenario I just gave you. I mean, Vernon Davis still has some potential, because we know Jordan Reed is not anywhere near 100%. Now, a guy that's more reliable, not so much upside, is Lance Kendricks. Only 4,800, and this guy has been kind of quiet because he doesn't have that upside that we like, that big playability. None of the Rams do. But 4,800 is really good. I like his floor against the Falcons. I think he'll get at least 5 receptions this game. And Jack Doyle, a guy I have to mention, minimum priced, gets about the same amount of targets as Dwayne Allen, but Dwayne Allen balled out super duper time last week, and more people will pick Dwayne Allen when you want to go fade Dwayne Allen. Hasn't really done much except last week, and go with Jack Doyle. Not a guy that I'm going to bank on, but I'm just saying, like, in a GPP, not a bad choice. And another silly GPP guy is Gary Barnidge, but with RG3 there starting as the quarterback, I mean, how much can you trust that? And those are all my picks for week 14. Make sure you guys play them on FanDuel. You can play for free, for fun, or you can play for as little as $1. Just follow the link below. You can win cash prizes. It's awesome. And if you sign up, use promo code FANTASYCouch. And make sure you guys watch my how to play DFS strategy and intro video if you haven't already. That link is also below in the description, or you can click here someplace if you're on YouTube. Also, make sure you guys like the video, hit that red subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Also, make sure you guys comment.